Thanks for coming this morning and sort of seeing what we do here and being able to tout all of our great highlights and our great kids in the district. On my points of pride, my first year here, we had 13. I had to replace about 13 teachers. And so that's a very stressful time that you have. This year, I had to replace one. And so the high retention rate, I think, is a testament of how solid we are here through our academics and through just everything that we have put in place in FISD to keep our teachers. We have new fencing, we have new bathrooms, we have new playground equipment. The playground has been the biggest change probably as you walk out there over the last 7-8 years. Big thanks to Head Start. Head Start actually came in, gave us some big pieces of playground equipment. If you've never priced out playground equipment before, you would be shocked. When I first started over here, we looked at some playground equipment and the rep said, if you want a big piece of playground equipment, figure out a cost of $1,500 per the number of kids you want on it. Last year when I priced it out, they were saying that has almost more than tripled since I first started just 7 years ago. We do our Meet the Teacher Parent Information Night. Those were very well attended this year. And big props to my teachers. On our Parent Information Night, that was when that last thunderstorm came through. We had a big bolt of lightning pretty much across the way down here. We lost power right in the middle of it all. We had no power in this whole building. So we held flashlights. Teachers still did all their presentations without technology. Parents went with the flow. Kids were playing all over the place, and we still did our night. And so that was a big deal. Total enrollment on this campus is approximately 482. That's an increase in enrollment from last year by about 15 students. As far as parent opportunities to come out, we have something it feels like every couple weeks that they can participate in. A couple of the ones that we love to highlight are Rodeo and Splash Day. Every week we do Walking Wednesday. Parents can come and participate in that. We just had our Booster-thon, which was very well attended. We do our Kids Hearts Challenge in the spring. We do our bilingual night, which we're changing up a little bit here. We're going to do it either in December or January. We do our Literacy and Math Night. Literacy Night is coming up here in 2 weeks from now, and that pairs with our book fair week. We do our roundup for new students. That was very well attended last spring. And then of course our holiday classroom celebrations, and then we do a can drive with our Winter Wonderland drive-through. We filled up a truck last year. We donated it to the area food pantry. It was awesome. Grandparents Luncheon this year was a huge success. Had over 700 adults that showed up for that, which is a sort of a precursor for Thanksgiving. So we anticipate even more than 700 for Thanksgiving luncheon. As we look at our accountability, this is more of our teaching aspect. We do have new science curriculum this year. It's been very involved. The state of Texas looked at the curriculum in science and said, we really want the kids to be hands-on learners. And so they changed up the science curriculum where almost everything is hands-on. And so it was fun actually going through it. They're fun activities. The teachers have worked really hard to incorporate that in and go a lot of cross-curricular activities with that. We've added more levels of implementation standards for math, ELA, phonics, and social studies. We've added more planning time. We've just changed up our schedule quite a bit to where all of our grade level teachers can get together all at one time. So it's one common voice, one common planning time, which has allowed them really to go through the process a little bit better together, to really work on how they're delivering their content in their classroom. And so it's been a very big positive. We also meet after school 1 day a week. During the period, it's more about English language arts content. After school, we really focus on the science and math content. M class is an indicator of their reading. You'll see, especially in kinder, growth numbers that are pretty huge actually. Last year, for example, we had 50 students that had not attended pre-K with us. They were brand new students. A lot of those students had never attended any kind of formal schooling before. So a lot of those students' baseline data is quite low from the first time they enter. They've never had any kind of, formal letter knowledge training. They can all work an iPhone or an iPad and things like that, but it's not really in any kind of formal teaching setting. Our first grade data, you'll see a little bit of a drop in that, but we're really working on the more reading fluency. You'll see a lot of improvement. For math, when you look at the median score, you're looking at your whole group. A median score number for a 5-point increase is actually a huge gain on a median. So we like seeing that, especially on a scaled national test. Pre-K is a CLI, so we call it CLI Engage. This is interesting to look at because from wave 1 to wave 3, we call it, beginning to end of the year, there's also a growth indicator that's in there. So you have to look at it from, they take a beginning of the year assessment to an end of the year assessment, which is they measure from up here. We want better growth than this. And so I love showing this, and because, especially with our pre-K teachers, we've worked really hard. We probably worked almost harder with our pre-K teachers this year, understanding these numbers and understanding their growth. And we jumped into it actually last spring already to sort of say what we're teaching and how we're teaching affects a individual student's growth. We focused a lot on their writing and their letter recognition, and they've just kept growing as this fall has gone. With our implementation standards, when we extend that PLC time, and I'm going to jump actually here, we've looked at their family district engagement plan, and with that comes their curriculum also. They use what's called the Frog Street curriculum. When they adopted their curriculum, it was right in the middle of COVID. And so there were very limited training options for them. So they have some knowledge in it, but we're going to expand their knowledge. We're going to keep pushing to expand their knowledge. Our campus discipline plan, I love the process that we went through a couple years ago with all the campuses. We wanted to have our language to be very common. We want parents to be very comfortable. We actually all sat in a room between FES, FMS, FHS, and made sure that we were actually, and SES, and made sure we were common verbiage along the line too. So we had that vertical integration piece, which was nice. We've also worked really hard with the instructional staff at central office to assure that all of our alignment needs were being met. When you talk to teachers, a lot of them, especially your more veteran teachers, pre-K is the old kindergarten. In pre-K now, they learn colors, shapes, numbers, letters. They go through all that process. 20 years ago, that's what they learned in kindergarten. Because now in kindergarten, they teach adding and combining numbers, combining and separating numbers. I mean, it's a process. In our phonics program, we're teaching them how to slide. We're teaching them how to read CVC words. We go through the process. 20 years ago, no. And the standard keeps shifting up. So if there's a student that never had any kind of preschool or never were taught any colors, letters, or anything, and they're just like, well, they'll learn that in school, they're behind. But we'll get them there. It's just, it's going to be a fast-forwarded pace and to go through the process.
Blaine, there was a bullet on the first slide at the very bottom that mentioned clothing. Can you share?
We were contacted, it was late spring and into the summer by the Durst family, Rhonda Durst in particular. We are starting, we've set this wheel in motion, a Clothes for Kids program here. And it's a lot like what the ag program has done for food for kids or food for families. And so they have really done a great job. They're actually taking donations right now. They probably have enough clothes to reload it about 6 or 7 times. We have a container in the back. It's all worked out. It has hangers and shelves and currently has lighting. We're getting to a point where it's about ready to go, where families can come up and get new and slightly used clothes for their families. It'll be on the honor system, and it'll be a great program for people to come and go through the process. We talked to the Food for Families group just about, okay, how does it work? How do people sort of use it? And is it abused? And they were like, actually it's not. But somebody has to constantly come and reload it, clean it up, and go through the process. And so it's sort of been a little bit of a slow process, them trying to figure out what building they wanted, what everything, and it's been really on them in cooperation with us. We're providing the space. It's directly behind our cafeteria door back here. It's in a very safe, protected place, and it's getting close to getting opened. We wanted to make sure just everything was in place. They wanted to make sure they had a great supply, because they didn't want it to be real sparsely, I guess, supplied. And so we're getting there. It's getting real close right now. So it'll be a fun thing once we get it opened up and start advertising it too. So we've been holding off because we didn't want to advertise it too soon and not be ready either. So pretty cool program. Especially since FES turned 30, we're turning 50. This building did not look like this when it was built. This was, a walk down area where they could meet as a group, and then they filtered back out to their areas for that open concept learning design. It was actually like the same thing on the other side, with the cafeteria in the middle, the gym in the middle type of deal. And so you can sort of see the gym, see the cafeteria still where it was, even though we expanded the cafeteria back in, I guess it was the 14 bond that passed, and to go through with the 16 stuff. That's the improvement that was in here. But all these walls, even though they look sort of permanent, they were temporarily built. And so that's sort of the structure that you see.
Thank you for your leadership, Blaine.
Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all.